When the narcissist realizes the empath has learned their language. That's the title of this video. There comes a quiet moment, no noise, no announcement, when the empath finally understands not just the words of the narcissist, but the pattern, the tone, the hidden meaning behind the smiles. It is like learning a secret language that was always spoken around you, but never explained. At first, the empath used to believe everything. Every apology felt real. Every promise sounded sincere. Every tear looked like truth, but time is a great teacher. A child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. This African proverb reminds us, pain creates patterns, and the empath begins to see those patterns clearly. The narcissist says, "You are too sensitive." The empath now hears, "I do not want to take responsibility." The narcissist says, "You misunderstood me." The empath now hears, "I'm twisting the truth again." The narcissist says, "I love you." The empath now pauses and asks, "Is this love or control?" This is the awakening. There's a short story of a man who lived near a river. Every day he saw a snake drowning and rescued it. Each time the snake beat him. A wise elder asked, "Why do you keep saving it?" The man replied, "Because it is my nature to help." The elder said, "And it is the snake's nature to bite, but wisdom is knowing when to step back." The empath finally learns, understanding someone does not mean you must continue to suffer for them. When the empath learns the narcissist's language, something powerful happens. The balance shifts. Before, the narcissist controlled the story. They played with emotions like a puppeteer pulls strings. But now, the empath sees the strings. When the blind man learns to see, the thief must run. The narcissist begins to feel uncomfortable. Why? Because confusion was their weapon, and clarity has now entered the room. The empath no longer reacts quickly, no longer explains endlessly, no longer begs to be understood. Instead, they become calm, observant, silent. And silence is powerful. There's a proverb, even the lion does not turn around when a small dog barks. The empath stops reacting to every insult, every manipulation. This confuses the narcissist deeply. Imagine a storyteller who has performed the same trick for years, making people laugh, cry, believe. Suddenly, one person in the audience stands up and says, "I know how the trick works." The magic disappears. That is what happens here. The narcissist may try harder, more charm, more guilt, more anger. But the empath is no longer hypnotized. They now understand love bombing is not love. Silence is punishment. Kindness can be a trap. And once you see clearly, you cannot unsee. When the narcissist realizes the empath understands, fear begins to grow inside them. Not always loud fear, but deep, quiet fear. Why? Because control is sleeping. The one who holds the mirror is feared by the one who hides their face. The empath has become a mirror. Now the narcissist may respond in different ways. They may become angry. They may say harsh words, insult, or attack. When truth enters, lies begin to shout. There's a king who once had a servant who always agreed with him. One day, a new servant arrived and gently corrected the king. The king became furious, not because the servant was wrong, but because the king was not used to truth. The narcissist is like that king. They may try to pull you back. They may suddenly become kind again, loving again. But the empath now knows not every smile is peace. Some smiles are traps. Sometimes the narcissist leaves, not because they are strong. They may withdraw, but because they can no longer control the game. When the hunter loses his weapon, he leaves the forest. The empath must not be confused by this. Their silence or absence is not healing. It is strategy. Learning the narcissist language is not about becoming cold or hard. It is about becoming wise. The empath remains kind. The empath remains kind, but no longer naive. So be as gentle as a dove, but as wise as a serpent. There's a story of a farmer who allowed goats into his garden. They ate everything. A friend told him, "You are too kind." The farmer replied, "Kindness without boundaries is distraction." So he built a fence. The empath builds a fence not out of hate, but out of self-respect. Now they understand not everyone deserves access. Not every battle is worth fighting, and not every apology deserves forgiveness. They begin to choose peace over drama. Do not set yourself on fire to keep others warm. The empath also learns silence, not as weakness, but as strength. Sometimes saying nothing says everything. They stop explaining themselves to people who have already decided not to understand. They stop chasing closure from those who create confusion. They stop trying to fix those who enjoy breaking things. And in this stillness, they find power. The greatest moment is not when the narcissist changes. The greatest moment is when the empath no longer needs them to. The bird does not wait for the cage to open, it learns how to fly. The empath reaches a place of deep clarity. They understand the game, they see the patterns, they feel the manipulation. But most importantly, they walk away from it. There's a story of a traveler who carried a heavy stone for many years, believing it was valuable. One day, a wise woman told him, "Drop it." He said, "But I have carried it for so long." She replied, "That is exactly why you must let it go." The empath lets go, not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. They choose peace, they choose self-respect, they choose truth. And the narcissist, they may watch from a distance, confused, frustrated, or even angry, because the person they once controlled now speaks a different language. The language of awareness, boundaries, and inner strength. When you know your worth, you become expensive to those who cannot afford you. In the end, the empath does not become the narcissist. They become something far greater. A person who sees clearly, loves wisely, and walks away bravely. Knowledge is light, and light exposes everything. Not everyone who speaks softly has a kind heart. Peace is expensive. Stop giving discounts to chaos. And remember, when the narcissist realizes the empath has learned their language, the game is already over. Thank you for watching this video. Please share it widely to all those who may need it. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you've not done so. Thank you.